Apologies for the technical issues with us here at Larkhall. You've not missed anything though. Don't need to worry. I can just hear engines firing up for Micro Max UK, their second heat of the day. And this will be another key one, Nicole, to see how we're going to be lining up for those super heats tomorrow.
Absolutely will be. It was a busy micro heat one. Expect the same thing within this one. You've got Benedictus Masiokas on that front row, joined by Charlie Page as your pole sitter. They were two drivers to keep an eye on the first one, as was Dean Pahal, who of course won our round at Dunk as well. So you've got some big hitters within our micros, big hitters who are now on a completely dry circuit for what will be one of their first dry runnings here this weekend. We have had pretty much wet conditions throughout all of testing, so this is going to throw things up a notch for some of our drivers, really show who can go out there and put good laps in with very limited testing.
Let's have a very quick run through your grid whilst the drivers are heading around the far end of the circuit. So Charlie Page starts on pole position, Benedictus Masiokas alongside on the front row, Dean Singh Pahal and Harris Barber on row 2, Alfie Garrett and Albie J Stubbs on row 3, Ralph Martin and Dax Farrer on 4, Arlo Gamble and Seb Crawford on row 5, Otto Amy, Freddie Walker, Dimitar Uzanov, Chloe McGill, Max Armitt, Oliver Woodall, William Mazzali and Albert Farrow complete the 18 runners for this one. We are racing once again at Larkhall. 10 minutes plus 1 lap for Micromax UK. Who is going to grab that pole position for the Super Heats tomorrow? Well, at the moment, it's Charlie Page leading this race from Dean Singh Pahal. Dean, the winner from Dunk, as well, has had a good start there from third on the grid. It's demoted Benedictus Masiokas, your winner from heat number 1, down to third place through turn 6 towards turn 7 now. Is this the point where Singh Pahal will have a go for the race lead? Not on this occasion. Solid start though for Charlie Page, continuing to show some really good pace here at Larkhall, as there is a move down the inside for second place. Masiokas through past Singh Pahal.
Good stuff by Masiokas, your O-plate driver who had a good run of things in the first heat. Can he get even better within this one though? Midfield section, no busy stuff just yet, no major movers within the opening lap. You won't maybe see drivers pick off huge numbers of positions in the early stages like you would in wet conditions, as it doesn't get anywhere near as busy. As down the inside for the race lead goes Masiokas through turn number 4, makes it stick and gets himself ahead of Charlie Page. Down the back straight they will go, and it is Masiokas ahead of Page, Pahal, Garrett and Harris Barber as your top 5. Barber is a little way off your top 4. Page continuing to push around Masiokas through that hairpin. They are close. Lunge could be on, but settle down are your top 4. Garrett, a driver who competed here last year and had a top 10 result, is in the grid once again. Can he one-up his position from 2024? As under investigation goes Otto Amy, sat there further down in the order. It's P12 Otto currently finds himself.
A few drivers who've unfortunately fallen down the order. Chloe McGill sadly down to 17th place. Arlo Gamble, such a shame for Arlo, because should note again a really good qualifying early today for Arlo. A big step forward, another one of our rookies, first time runners in the British Kart Championships. Yeah, Arlo's unfortunately fallen down to 18th place. Back at the front of the field though, Masiokas and Page right now in this finishing order. That would set the grid for tomorrow's Super Heats in the same order of the O-plate and number 33. Like Alfie Garrett was going for a move there on Dean Singh Pahal. And yes, Garrett has got through into third place. Albie J Stubbs is on the move as well. Number 99 there is up to 5th place for Sam Pollitt Racing. End of another lap here at Larkhall. It's Masiokas leading from Page by 0.2 of a second. Very even on time, both of them in the very low 57 point somethings. Garrett from Singh Pahal, Stubbs, Barber, Martin, Crawford, Farrow and Farrer making the top 10. Good to see Ralph Martin there up in 7th place, having a stronger run this time, Nicole.
Similar stories from the Strawberries then as what we saw at Dunk as well, because we see Harris Barber and Ralph Martin bumper to bumper once more throughout racing. Barber sat there in 6th and Ralph Martin, a rookie driver in your field, following him around there in 7th. Both drivers just trying to pick off Albie Stubbs there in 5th. Eyes back on this one though. This is the mid-pack section. That's Ralph Martin now losing a position to Pharaoh. Pharaoh gets through, makes it stick, looks over his shoulder. Nicely done there by Albert, who now finds himself in 8th place. Benedictus and Charlie Page still your 1 and 2, but Charlie Page is now your fastest driver out there on the circuit. Gets a good run out of turns number 2 and towards 3. Will the move be on going into turn number 4? Not quite yet. Through all drivers go from 4. That's Pharaoh on your screen, looking strong. Down the back straight they go once more then, in a bit of a lull phase within this one. Nobody looking for overtakes just yet. 5.5 minutes left to go on the timing board. And then, Andrew, bit of a chat amongst us two then. So far within this grid, predictions as we go into Superheats. What are you thinking for our micros?
I think it's pretty difficult to see past Benedictas Masiokas. The performance that we've seen from Benedictas, another one of my drivers who's improved most this season. You know, he's got that rhythm of getting to the front, even when he's not got pole position. He's able to pull his way back through the order, and the other drivers are really going to have to step it up to defeat him here this weekend. I'm also going to go on sticker watch. There's a new sticker kit on the number 16 for Sebastian Crawford, still marked as the Origin Motorsport team. They're previously running in like the black and white liveries that we've seen. I think it's GSF car parts that are sponsoring that one. And I'll be down there later to try and get some new spare parts from my Mazda MX-5.
Down the inside, one of the SF Sam Pollitt's goes then. That's further back in your field. As we've got a battle going on now, this is Pharaoh trying to get past. Pharaoh team change for him and he makes it stick. So that's now Harris Barber losing a position. Barber though trying to return the favour going into turn number 9 but can't make it stick. So Pharaoh does get into the top 5 and stays there. Harris Barber running a bit wide out of that final corner. Ralph Martin, his teammate, who's pulling around Dax Ferrer, their other Strawberry teammate, in 7th and 8th. So these 3 Strawberries now line of stern going towards the boot section, chasing down the previous DHR driver but the new SFR driver of Pharaoh in 5th. No change just yet between your 2 race leaders of Masiokas and Charlie Page. It's 0.4 of a second. This split up those 2 drivers, settled down between those 2, but not maybe too settled down in the back end of your field, because you've got battles still going on between Crawford, Pharaoh and Dimitar Uzanov in there as well.
3.5 minutes remaining, as you say, Nicole. And I've got to say, I have been impressed so far this season with Dimitar Uzanov, just getting another position there, up to P9. Chloe McGill trying to recover after the problems earlier on. Is now back up to 14th place, just ahead of Freddie Walker on that occasion. Not done at the front of the order there as well. You just saw Page still right there behind Masiokas. The gap is 0.35 of a second. This result right now would swing things back to Page in the battle for second place in the intermediate classification, although it's another one of those, we often say this in karting, would you rather start on the outside of row number 1 or the inside of row number 2? I think so far this weekend it's very much start on the inside of row number 2. We'll see what the conditions are like tomorrow morning. That's the quick side of the battle between Alfie Garrett and Dean Singh Pahal for 3rd place. Got 2 seconds as an advantage over Albert Pharaoh. Pharaoh, your biggest mover in this race, up 13 places. Charlie Page, new fastest lap there, Nicole, reminding Benedictas Masiokas that he's not going away.
Absolutely, it's just less than 0.2 of a second now, so Charlie Page absolutely looking on the door as Dean Pahal gets it completely wrong going into turn number 4. That was a driver mistake, I'd say, on the braking by Pahal. Just looked like he overcooked it, maybe panicked a bit, lost the rear end going into 4, but that's drama for Dian, who now drops down into 9th place, and almost a big moment for him because he did pull back onto the racing line quite quickly, probably in a state of panic there, as we've now got a change for the race lead. Benedictus Masiokas has been overtaken by Charlie Page. That fastest lap put in by Page has really helped him on these dying stages to get past, and now leads the way out of the final turn. Masiokas has not been put off though, because he goes down the inside at turn number 1, returns the favour, takes the race lead back, but Charlie Page is going to try and snatch it. No, he doesn't, concedes a position, drops back into 2nd. Through turn number 4 they go, but now Alfie Garrett finds himself all alone. He did have Dian for company, but now Dian, mid-pack, he's nowhere now. That's drama.
There is a drop down the order for Dian Singh Pahal, but at least still well positioned in the intermediate classification. Only drops to 6th in the intermediate points. This is a great battle though between Masiokas and Page. 45 seconds remaining on the clock, so there should be 2 more laps after this one. This has been a much sterner test for Benedictus Masiokas. Charlie Page has been in very good form here at Larkhall. Strong through free practice yesterday, clearly strong through TQ this morning as well. But what's been really positive for me, this is not a driver that we're talking about in terms of necessarily being the most local. Was originally based down in London, of course, but right now Charlie Page is showing the kind of pace that we saw in the club meeting last week, and that's the key round Larkhall. Such a tricky circuit to get into a rhythm as a race driver. Charlie Page is keeping the championship leader very, very honest here. Time is up. They'll see the final lap board next time around. No other changes in the rest of the order. Alfie Garrett's 3rd place right now is also going to convert through to a 3rd place on the grid for the Superheat tomorrow. Remember, no championship points from today, as in there won't be any championship points awarded. All of the intermediate points from today carry over into those Superheats. We have those Superheats. That then gives us a final intermediate classification from which the first set of championship points will be awarded for this weekend. Investigation flag out for the number 23 of Dian Singh Pahal. I wonder whether that is maybe for the rejoin that we saw after the spin a few laps ago. But Masiokas and Page continue to lead this race. Garrett a comfortable 3rd, and Albert Farrow has done nicely there in 4th.
Absolutely. Good stuff by Farrow, though. 14 place gain to break into that top 5. So actually looking this weekend like that team change has done good things for Albert. Down the back straight they go. This is your mid-pack section led by Harris Barber. Looked like he was going to get teammates of Ralph Martin to challenge, but Harris keeps onto the position. There we go then, challenge going on. That's Dian in the middle of this fight, trying to hold off the drivers behind him, but looks like he's going to lose out. But drivers that are not losing out in the front is Benedictus Masiokas, who takes the race lead ahead of Charlie Page in 2nd. It's just under 0.4 of a second that splits up the two. Challenge still going on. It's absolutely not over in the back end of your field. Big changes going on between the drivers in the back section. That was Crawford, Pahal, Dimitar Uzunov and Oliver Woodall fighting out right until the very end. But Benedictus takes your race lead, adds to his tally, adds to his points scored this year. Charlie Page in 2nd, and Garrett, driver who was in the grid last year, driver who's experienced in micro, finishing in 3rd. You've then got Farrow and Harris Barber that round out your top 5, and then the remainder of your top 10 includes Dax Farah, LBJ Stubbs, Ralph Martin, Sebastian Crawford and Dian Singh Pahal.
Very good day's work there for Masiokas. 11th place for Dimitar Uzunov, 12th for Ollie Woodall, 13th Otto Amy ahead of a recovering Chloe McGill. Arlo Gamble as well got back into the top 15 ahead of Freddie Walker, Max Armit and the debutant William Mazzali. For Masiokas, that will be a 5-point lead in the intermediate classification overnight. That, if I've got the maths right, is quite useful. Obviously he would like to win the Superheat tomorrow, but he doesn't necessarily need to. So as long as he can just keep himself up in that top 2, top 3, Benedictus Masiokas is on course for another big haul of championship points from the points available tomorrow. Charlie Page will be on the front row for that superheat tomorrow. Very good run for the privateer. Quick reminder as well for anyone around the paddock, if you want to be involved in the paddock show, get down to Race Centre after the last race of the day. We've got the wheel change challenge, the Wera Tools wheel change challenge set for this evening as well. It'd be great to have a chat with the drivers and see how they've felt today. It's gone good sportsmanship as well from all of our young drivers. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from race 9 of the day, heat 2 for Micromax UK.
Best bits of the race then. Good start from the likes of Pahau. Charlie Page had a good one as well. Benedictus Masiokas dropped down to 4th in the early stages, but did pick things back up again going through turn 8. Took the position away from Pahau, who then later had dramas, then later dropped to 4th. Pharaoh really lit things up pretty much from the word go. Ended up in 4th position, but lap after lap picked off places, overtook, especially through that infield hairpin. That was Harris Barber that you just saw him overtaking on your screen. Lead change, it was Page and Benedictus that swapped and changed. Dean Powell, of course, we lost back in the early, in the order later on. That was a top 10 finish overall for him. He was P4 at one point, but Benedictus Masiokas, your O-Plate winner, took another heat win this year, ahead of Charlie Page, just under 0.4 of a second, split those two up. So good stuff by both Page and Masiokas, who once again give each other plenty of racing room. Some good mature racing, I'd say, from our front two in micros.
Yeah, really good stuff. We'll see the micros back out tomorrow for their superheat, which I'll just remind myself will be one of the latest superheats. Will be at 11:40 on Sunday morning. One more race to go in this this rotation. Honda Cadet GX200 is up after this. Last heat of the second rotation brings us to Honda Cadet GX200. This is the decider for the grid of the superheat tomorrow, and we'll see the resumption of the battle between Archie Loveridge and Riley Blakemore. That is your first row. Luke McGall and Ronnie Jones will go from row number 2 in this one. On row 3, we'll find Shaylin Srikantan and the S-plate holder Archie Cannon flying the flag for Scotland. Also flying the flag for Scotland, it's Carl Kerr, 7th on the grid, joined by Jayan Prakash. That's row 4.
Row number 5 on home soil includes Luca Picocchi with Jack Cope. And then from 6 we have Aidan Donnelly and Elliot Bork. Row number 7 and final row of your Honda Cadet grid includes Oliver Ratton and Harry Grant. It's an all privateer, row number 7.
The results from heat number 1. Blakemore from Loveridge, Ronnie Jones, Luke McGall, Archie Cannon was your top 5. Carl Kerr 6th, ahead of Elliot Bork, who was your biggest mover in that first heat for our Honda Cadet drivers. Again of 5 to 7th. Luca Picocchi, Shaylin Srikantan, Jayan Prakash, Jack Cope, Harry Grant, Aidan Donnelly and Oliver Ratton. So that was your race result from heat 1. It's also your order at the moment in the intermediate classification. Same scoring system, 0 intermediate points for a race win at this stage of the weekend. 2 for second, 3 for third, 4 for fourth, etc, etc. And of course, it's a standing start for our 200cc category. A grid forming up here at Larkhall. Andrew Mather and Nicole Sutherland on commentary duties for you this weekend. For Event 5 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Last little adjustments being made to the grid of 14 drivers ready to go here in Honda Cadet GX200. Completed there by the number 22 of Oliver Ratton and the 45 of Harry Grant. Once our grid marshal has completed those checks, it'll be green flag in the air and then eyes to the lights for the start of 10 minutes plus 1 lap. Here come the lights for the second heat in Honda Cadet GX200. 4 lights are on. They're out and we are racing once again in Honda Cadet GX200. Bit of a tentative start for those in the first couple of rows, but it's the number 73 of Archie Loveridge who's taken the early advantage. Riley Blakemore is right there though in second place. Good start for Ronnie Jones as well, who is up to third place out of turn number 5 for the first time. Nicole, it's another good start for Loveridge.
Good start by pretty much our whole field, I'd say there, Andrew. Everybody looking quite settled in this first half a lap. That's the 23 on your screen, trying to have a go, trying to pick off places. Shaylin having a good run of things so far this weekend. There we go, Ronnie Jones trying to challenge, trying to defend from the drivers behind your O-plate, and your driver of the day from Warden Law having a good run of things so far. Tries to look down the inside at turn number 9, can't make anything stick. Will he have a go through the final corner? Decides against it. Change though at the front end of your order because Loveridge has now lost it to Riley Blakemore. Blakemore and Loveridge had a lot to say to each other through your Heat 1. Is that going to be the story of Heat 2 as well? I would say so, with the pace that these two have had. Further back in the field though, that's Kyle Kerr being challenged for 7th place. Jayan Prakash picking up some places. Jayan having a good weekend of things so far after bouncing back from injury sustained earlier on in the year. 4-car breakaway though at your front going into the infield hairpin. It's Blakemore that leads from Loveridge, Ronnie Jones and Luke McGall in there as well. Jones now trying to have a look around the outside, trying to have a good run. Doesn't quite manage to keep that minimum speed high enough though to make us overtake into turn number 8. Drama in the backfield though. Elliot Bork and Luca Bacocchi getting caught out onto the curb.
Well, indeed, 8 minutes to go in this one, and it's top 5 at the front of the field. As Carl Kerr's had a problem in the latter stages of that second lap. He's all the way down to 14th place now. And Luke McGall and Archie Cannon were having a discussion over 4th place a few moments ago. That's good to see. I think that the big difference here in this race versus heat number 1 though, Nicole, is Blakemore's gone for that move for P1 far earlier.
Yeah. We
saw him quite happy to just sit behind Loveridge for 8 or 9 laps of the first one and then make the move late on. This time he's taken the initiative. He wants to lead this race out, and for me at the moment that's a good move, mainly because of the proximity of Ronnie Jones there in 3rd place.
Yeah, not sure if it's intentional by Blakemore as we've got to move down the inside further back. I think that's Srikantan getting challenged
by the 85 of Jack Cope.
But I think what Blakemore is maybe unintentionally doing here is backing up Loveridge into the hands of Ronnie Jones. Ronnie's got the pace to be in the top 3, so Blakemore, by making that early on overtake, unintentionally brings Jones, brings McGall into the fight as well, and turns it into a bit more of a scrap, which can maybe give Blakemore a heat win. Fastest goes McGall in that P4, so chasing round, and I think he's got some fire in his belly there, really trying to suss out where he's faster than Jones there in 3rd place. Into the hairpin they go once more. The 73 of Loveridge just losing out on the exit, maybe went in a little bit too hard, looks over his shoulder to Jones there in 3rd. There's still a 4-car battle for this lead. But Archie Cannon, the S-plate there in 5th, looks like he's creeping up on this top 4 now.
Yeah, he's indeed. I think for Luke McGall, you mentioned there with that fire, 4th through the heats in the first round of the season at Warden Law, and it just did not go his way in the final. Was still in the top 10, but in the lower reaches of the top 10 in the first final of the year at Karting North East. So McGall knows that a result on the cards, to get into the top 5, say, is where he really wants to be aiming this weekend to prove the potential that we've seen so far in this 2025 season. 5.5 minutes to go. Here are your top 4. Blakemore, Loveridge, Jones and McGall. And one of the things I'm really liking with 2025, Honda Cadet had a rough couple of years. Let's be honest, it's still not back up to the numbers that we used to see, say, 5 or even 10 years ago. But the style of racing feels like it's coming back, where the drivers really have to think, don't they, Nicole, about middle of the race, right, we've had a good start, we've whittled down the numbers to 4 in this case, maybe 5 if Archie Cannon can pull back in. It really trains the drivers, doesn't it, to think about how they're going to approach the middle phase of the race to make sure they're still in the battle when they get to the last couple of minutes.
Absolutely, and this class makes for some great racing. You never really see drivers majorly pull away your battle for the race lead. Pretty much is start to finish. As we've got to move down the inside, that's Ronnie Jones being overtaken now by Luke McGall for that 3rd place. But that's something you see in Honda Cadet racing. I absolutely love it. This is where I first started, a long time ago now, but, it's a great class to be in, and hopefully over the next couple of years it picks back up again, because this is a great place for drivers to really learn their trade.
And as I say, that Luke McGall move was a really good example of it, that Luke's been looking at the back of the O plate for a few laps and has thought, do you know what, I am going to go for an overtake, just the one. I'm not going to go throwing it in there, trying to win it 4 minutes out from the end of the race, but just making that shrewd little bit of progress back through the field. That was a nice decision from Luke McGall. A good scrap going on there between the number 26 and the 85. That's Elliot Bourke and Jack Cope. That's over 9th place at the moment in this race. Meanwhile, change for the lead. Loveridge goes back through and is assisted by Luke McGall. So that's what we're talking about with the decision making. Luke McGall goes up to 2nd place, and that all goes back to 1 lap before. If he hadn't made the move on Ronnie Jones 1 tour prior, he wouldn't have been in that position to slipstream behind Loveridge, basically get a very easy overtake done on Riley Blakemore. Now you can start to feel this race building up. 3.25 minutes to go. Loveridge back to the front of the order for Ambition Motorsports. They know how to set a kart up round this circuit. Paul Janes and his team won in this category with Ed Spain in May last year. Blakemore looking down the inside of McGall. This is all going to stack up now, and Archie Cannon's now back as part of this battle pack at the front of the field. This is a chance now for Archie Loveridge to break away, but again, if the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th can get themselves organised, they should pull the race leader back.
Blakemore there with that attempted overtake. He just lost out. He lost out to Ronnie Jones. Now finds himself in 4th. No, make that 3rd because he goes down the inside. But tagging Ronnie Jones has brought Archie Cannon into it, so the S plate now picks off the O plate as well. So that 2nd pack of karts, as we've got a challenge for the race lead. Is that going to be Loveridge losing it to McGall? Yes, he does. McGall, through turn number 9, gets the run out of 8, makes it stick. That's going to then bring Blakemore into it as well. Is Blakemore going to pip Loveridge? Not quite yet, but that was a good move for the race lead by Luke McGall, well set up through turn number 8, as now Riley Blakemore is actually being given a warning flag.
Yeah, it's indeed. Tell you what this has done as well. It's really closed things up in the intermediate classification. Right now, Blakemore would still be on pole for the superheat tomorrow on 3 points. It's a share of 4 points apiece for Loveridge and McGall. Again, tiebreaker. We go back to time qualifying earlier on this morning. So Loveridge would still be in 2nd place on the grid for the superheat tomorrow, but only if Loveridge is able to hold this 2nd place or go for the lead of the race. Loveridge back down the inside to try and take the lead away from McGall. Oh, they nearly come together. Loveridge not happy about that at all. Blakemore's going to look down the inside for 2nd place, side by side once again between the two Project 1 chassis there. Just over a minute remaining on the clock, but that was a mighty close moment between McGall and Loveridge.
Brave stuff by Luke there through turn number 9. Just get his foot in on the power, let him run out the corner. And that's why you didn't see him lose that race lead. Nice stuff by him. Clever racing for that race lead. Cannon sat there in 4th, goes fastest. Ronnie Jones in 5th, trying to have a look, but Cannon is looking strong. Can he maybe pick off Riley Blakemore through this hairpin? Thinks against it, but now it really is close between all 5 in your top 5. Towards turn number 8 they go. McGall still leading comfortably from Loveridge. Doesn't look shaky out there in the front, as Loveridge is now being challenged for 2nd place by Blakemore. Blakemore tucks back in though to get into the corner of turn number 9. Luke, good run out of the last corner, still leading, head ducks towards the steering wheel, trying to duck under some of that wind that's out there. Runs a bit wide onto the rumble strip, but it isn't going to affect him too much. It isn't going to break that gap that he is given in front of Loveridge. Loveridge still just on that back bumper, but hasn't been able to push through just yet. Warning flags going out once more, but this time to Jack Cope, the 85, the down in the order. Jack currently sat down just outside to the top 12. Race still being commanded by Luke McGall though, sitting on that tighter line, trying to defend now in the late stages. The clock has run out as Jack Cope now is given a 5-second penalty out there on the track. Through turn number 8 they go. Luke looking over his shoulder, looking a bit nervous now to hold on to this race lead from Loveridge. Loveridge through turn number 10, looking steady. He's using his experience. He's trying to suss out where the rookie driver lacks to him. Is it going to be through turn number 4 as Luke goes defensive off of the rumble strip? Is this the stage? No, it's not.
No, not quite yet, but Luke McGall's done a very, very good job so far in this race. If he's to win it, that would be fantastic. But if they do find a way through, he can still be very proud of how he's managed this one. This has been a big step forward for Luke McGall. He's only got a couple more corners to go to try and secure 3rd on the grid for the super heats tomorrow. Loveridge trying to find a way through and defend at the same time. Oh, McGall's got a little bit deep, side by side, pod to pod towards turn 8. Who's going to have the lead going into turn number 9? Loveridge tries to throw it around the outside. Blakemore's going to get both of them. Blakemore has got both of them. Riley Blakemore from 3rd to 1st in a matter of a couple of corners. This has been classic Honda Cadet, and Riley Blakemore wins Heat 2, will be on pole position for the super heat tomorrow. Luke McGall holds on to 2nd place. Archie Cannon goes up to 3rd. Jones 4th, Loveridge 5th. Loveridge threw it all in there, Nicole, but it just didn't quite work.
The 2 best last lap racing we've had so far today have both come from our Honda Cadet categories. What a finish by both heats, from Blakemore, from Cannon, from Archie Loveridge as well. All have given some great racing so far, and they'll do the same tomorrow. But Riley Blakemore once again shows the rest of the grid who's boss. It's another heat win from him, but this time it's ahead of Luke McGall, like you said, Andrew, in that 2nd place. Good racing from Luke to come through the pack.
And those late changes actually mean that that will be your front row for the super heat tomorrow as well. So Blakemore, as we know, pole position. Luke McGall on 6 points. Sits 2nd in the intermediate classification after those 2 rounds of heats. Cannon, Jones, Loveridge, Bukkake, Prakash, Srikantan, Cope and Ratton all in the top 10 on the road. Donnelly, Bork, Kerr and Grant. Tough day for Harry Grant here today, but all 14 drivers who started the race finished the race. And as we say, the order for them on the grid for the super heat tomorrow. Remember, all of these intermediate classification points will carry over into the super heat tomorrow. We race one more time before we get the first championship points of the weekend awarded. But it'll be Blakemore, and McGall on the front row. Loveridge and Jones row 2. Cannon and Bukkake row 3. Great day there for Luca Bukkake. Remember, Luca raced with us for the first time as a wild card here last year in that May meeting in 2024. So Luca Bukkake's 6th. What a bit of development that has been for another one of our young drivers. Srikantan and Prakash will be row 4. Kerr and Bork will be row number 5. There's your driver P1. Riley Blakemore looking to get momentum going in this key part of the season. As I say, they are racing this weekend at Larkhall, and then we will see them again next weekend for a double header for event 6 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. So it's very important to get the results coming in. Now let's have a look at some of the highlights from race number 10, the last of the second rotation. Nicole, take us through it.
Well, standing start as always, clean start by all of our drivers. Mid-pack section, you had really the likes of Jack Cope and Jane Prakash jumping and having a good go of things early on. Early stages, Ronnie Jones jumped into 3rd position, but this was the point for me that Luke McGall really lit things up, really started to turn up that pressure dial on the cooker, on the drivers ahead of him. Cannon used the advantage when drivers in front were fighting, jumped into 4th position and found himself right back in the fight once more. Further down in the field, that's the 26 and the 85 challenging each other. So that was Elliot Bork and Jack Cope having a bit to say. They had a race to the line at one stage. It was busy stuff, but Jack Cope did end up for a 5-second penalty in the end. Luke McGall pipped for that race, lean ahead of Loveridge. Loveridge and Riley Blakemore still continue to battle it out, and this was the point that Luke jumped into the race lead. It did look like Loveridge was going to lose out to Blakemore, but it wasn't quite enough for Blakemore to get ahead. I think Luke McGall will be happy with that one. It's a 2-place gain overall for your rookie driver to finish in 2nd. But Riley Blakemore, once more, race winner. There he is on your screen, just chatting to Archie Cannon. I think those two drivers enjoyed it. And do you know what, boys? So did we.
Yeah, no, it's some properly good racing there for Honda Cadet GX200, as we say. Their next race will be the Super Heat for them. That'll be at 12 o'clock UK time. Plenty more stories to tell here this afternoon. We've got 2 more races to go. It'll be the 3rd heat of the day for both junior and senior Rotax. That'll be after another one of these 10-minute breaks, though, at the circuit. So we'll take a short break here at Larkhall. More racing to come.
Motorsport is naturally a fast-paced and dynamic environment. Dealing with a specialist insurance advisor helps to ensure that your specific needs are covered. We have access to a complete portfolio of products including personal accident, on-track damage, property and event liabilities and cancellation. We can help drivers, teams and manufacturers, event organisers and circuit owners and venues. Visit marshsport.co.uk/motorsport to find out more.
Welcome back to live pictures here at Larkhall International, the premier kart circuit in Scotland. It's event 5 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Andrew Mather and Nicole Sutherland on commentary duties for you today. We've had a great day of racing so far. Started out in wet conditions. Still a little bit greasy out there on circuit, but the stage is set quite superbly for a very dramatic end to the day. We've got 2 more races to bring you here on your Alpha Live broadcast. If you're new to either the Alpha Live or Karting UK YouTube channels, do make sure that you've subscribed. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, for the Super Heats and the big ones, the finals, to decide who are going to be our latest round winners in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. And if you enjoyed that, we're back next weekend as well at PF International for our IAME classes and more. It should be a really good weekend at PF. And if you're in the local area as well, you can, of course, attend the round next week and here as well. But I'd bring your brolly, I'd bring your coat and your walking boots as well. It's not the fault of the locals, of course, but it has been a little bit wet here this weekend so far. Nicole rejoins me here at the commentary position. Nicole, I'm really excited for these heats. Yes, they're not super heats and finals. We'll have the enjoyment of those tomorrow. But I cannot call where either of the pole positions for Junior Rotax and Senior Rotax go. We'll find out over the course of these next 2 races for these third heats, but this is really finely poised, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, within this heat, you've got Leon Hasty and Jacob Ashcroft in the mix. They're both drivers that have taken your 2 heat wins so far today. So this heat, either one of them is going to lose out or both of them could lose out. But I think Hasty and Ashcroft will meet each other at some point throughout this heat. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade a bit of paint. But of course, you've got Matteo Palazzo thrown in the fight as well. Home soil for Matteo, fast on this circuit. So don't count him out. Maybe he's the driver that can throw a tool in the works and be the one to take a heat win away from Hasty and Ashcroft.
I'd say it's a testament to how competitive Junior Rotax is at the moment, that you've got 4 different teams represented in the first 4 drivers in an A versus B race. These are your fastest drivers from timed qualifying earlier on this morning. So Hasty and Palazzo for Craft and KR Sport respectively. Charlie Wolfett, we've not talked about too much so far today, but got 3rd place in his first heat earlier on today, so he's very much in the mix. Other drivers to keep an eye on, the DHR duo of Cole Denham and Cameron Nelson. We saw them race in heat number 2 for Denham, another driver who got a P3, Nelson P6. Maybe not quite as strong as he would have hoped for, but 2nd in this race last year. So of the drivers who've stuck with the junior ranks for 2025, if we look back to May 2024, Antrobus, of course, has gone up to seniors. Nelson was the highest ranked of those in this field this weekend round this very track. The pre-grid is, of course, filling up for this third heat of the day for Junior Rotax. The other thing that we should note as well, as I'm just thinking this thought through, yes, I think I'm right on this one. We often talk about Group A having a tyre advantage in their first race. That's because it's normally against Group C and they've already raced once. They didn't get that today because of the changing conditions, but they do get it now, do they not? Because they've not run on a slick tyre so far this weekend. You can see that from Leon Hasty's O-plate. That is a brand new set of mojos on the kart. For everyone on the Group B side of the grid, it'd be great to have a little look at Matteo Palazzo's KR Sport just behind. Once it appears on the grid, not the Kart directly behind, because that's Charlie Wolfert's MLC 295. But in theory here, we are going to see Group A have their tyre advantage, Nicole, arguably in an even more important race for them.
You absolutely are. Hasty, then your driver starting at the front row. Like you said, Andrew, he had those wet tyres, so he had a commanding win on wets. We threw question marks around whether he was helped in those conditions because of his height and being heavier in the grid, maybe running a bit less lead than some of the other drivers. But in this one, he's now got another advantage where he's on slick tyres. Cole Denham, who's starting on that third row, he's already scrubbed in those slicks, as has Jacob Ashcroft on the second row. Matteo starting alongside, he's not on fresh rubber anymore. So maybe watch once more Leon Hasty, run away with things. Another name you mentioned a moment ago, Andrew, was Cameron Nelson. I think he's one to watch within this. There you can see on your screen, they're scrubbed in, they've been used. The tread will be a lot less than Hasty's. That's Matteo's kart there. So that's going to play into things for this heat.
So explain to us, Nicole, for the uninitiated. I mean, we can visibly see the difference between Palazzo's tyres and Hasty's tyres. Now, the tyres will still be giving good performance.
Yes,
we often talk about this step, don't we?
Yeah.
But what does that feel like as a driver? How will Hasty's tyres feel in those initial laps versus Palazzo's?
So actually, in the initial laps, the drivers who have already scrubbed those tyres in will have an advantage because they've not got to work to scrub off the sheen on the tyre.
Release agent.
Whereas Leon will. So in your first probably 2 laps, Leon's going to have to work a bit harder. He's going to be sliding around a bit more compared to Denham and Palazzo. It's when you get into probably the 4th onwards laps where those drivers on the fresher rubber will start to come through the pack because they've got more grip out there, they've got more tread to play with. So it comes and goes in fluctuation. So the drivers on that older tyre, the likes of Ashcroft, Denham, are going to have to work hard in the early stages to push back Leon Hasty as far back in the pack as they can get him.
Absolutely, and that's the difference here with this one, with this nuanced situation, that normally you get those tyres, a new set of tyres, and the release agent off during a timed qualifying, but that definitely was not the tyre choice to make earlier on this morning here at Larkhall, where that persistent rain was affecting things out there. These are all Group B drivers that we're having a look here up against the fence. These are all on the starting on the driver's right-hand side. There's Jack Collinson. Jack Collinson needs a big drive here. The driver who flies the flag for both the UK and Latvia has been racing this season in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy for Latvia. So good for us as a championship. It's not just the likes of Finlay Lyons and Harrison Whittaker who've been on that grid, but Jack Collinson as well. Looks like we are about ready, though, for the final heat of the day for Junior Rotax. Race 11 is up next. Hold on to your hats, everybody. This could be pretty good. Heat number 3 for Junior Rotax, with pole positions in the superheats on the line. Matteo Palazzo and Leon Hasty form out an all-Scottish front row here at Larkhall. Jacob Ashcroft and Charlie Wolfert go from row number 2. Row number 3, Cole Denham and Kai Clark. On row number 4, winner last time out at Dunk as well, Cam Nelson, is joined by Joel Dixon-Cohen.
Row number 5 includes Sebastian Lush and Archie Lovett. And then from 6 we have Finlay Buck with Ellis Bell. 7 will look like Albert Friend for Strawberry and Vlad Tomanchuk for KR Sports. And then from row number 8 we have Alfie McBain and Noah Barham.
Row number 9, Charlie King needs a good result, is joined by Oliver White. Benjamin Baker and Nathaniel Gray go from row number 10. Henry Cameron and Panos de Moncon go from row 11. It's Shane Chandaria, who had a great first heat, is joined by Luca Holmes-Ballack on row 12. Jack Collinson and Louis Radcliffe start on row 13. Eason Seng and Samir Paul completes the 28 runners in this race. And as we say, it is very finely poised in the intermediate points. Hasty and Ashcroft both on 0. Wolfert and Denham both on 3. Clubhouse leader effectively is Albi Lapper on 4. That is surely going to be, a false start. We go around again. Is that a little bit of sportsmanship? Professional sportsmanship there, Nicole Sutherland by Leon Hasty, I wonder?
I would maybe say Leon's trying to buy himself an extra bit of time, try and scrub off a bit more of that release agent on the tyre, try and warm it up a bit more, because he's going to be aware within this one the drivers around him are going to try and hustle him.
Now, he cannot do that indefinitely. So, as we say, let's not beat about the bush. That was about as deliberate a jump start as you will see, but you know,
you'll still try and deny.
You know, you play it within the rules. So Leon Hasty will lead the field round once again, and I'm sure the officials will be like, "Yep, we saw what you did there, Leon. Let's try and get this one going at the second time of asking." You can see how hard Matteo Palazzo's trying to work the heat into his tyres. Everybody on the outside of the grid, they will know just how important this race start is. Through the final corner, this is looking more steady this time around. Watch for those lights to go out and go to green. We are racing. It's a great start for Palazzo. Will lead through the first couple of corners. Jacob Ashcroft has got through as well. Now that could be a very important point, because effectively now on the road, Jacob Ashcroft will lead the category. Ashcroft has got ahead of the only other driver in this race, Leon Hasty, who is also on 0 points. Still a long way to go though. 9.5 minutes remaining. I think there were a couple of drivers in trouble towards the back of the field, Nicole, so we'll keep an eye on live timing to see who's falling down the order. Cam Nelson, with nowhere to go there, has lost 3, maybe 4 positions. Just had to get out of the lane, otherwise he would have gone into the back of the driver ahead and would have risked getting a 5-second penalty with a front fairing. It's off the road there. It's one of the SPRs and a KR as well. Bit of back and forth in the second half of the field, but it's Palazzo leading from Ashcroft, Denham, Hasty, Lush, Wolfett, Friend, Clark, Nelson, Buck and McBain. That's your top 11. Falling down the order, it was Henry Cameron in the Ultimate R, who's not come around the first lap yet. Joel Dixon-Cohen as well for Thule. Samir Paul and Eason Seng also towards the back of the field.
Well, we called it early on then, Andrew. We said the drivers needed to push back Leon Hasty as far back as they could, but they haven't done it too well, because he's arrived now once more into the top 3. There he is, just ahead of Cole Denham, and we'll watch a race replay then through turn number 8. So this is Cohen getting pushed up the hill onto the grass. He goes. Some of the spectators there, I think, are getting hit with some mud, but Cohen rejoins at the back of the order for Thule. Busy stuff in the back end of your field. Like you said, Lush getting involved, having a fight after rejoining the circuit, after being involved in that with Cohen. Busy stuff in your mid-pack section. Drivers saying hello to each other through turns 1 and 2. Back end of your full order, that was Jack Collinson, Archie Lovett, Oliver White and Luca Holmes-Ballack. All the ones saying hello. Through turn number 5, drivers go once more, but let's focus on the front of the order, because Palazzo, Ashcroft and Leon Hasty find each other 1, 2 and 3, and Cole Denham has arrived as well. Cole knocking on the door for that P3.
So Ashcroft throwed the slight defensive move there into turn 8, because he knows he's got to keep Leon Hasty behind. This is a really important phase of the race for Ashcroft, who does not hold the tyre advantage over Leon Hasty directly behind him, but he does hold a quite significant points advantage, only by 1 point though. If Ashcroft loses position on track to Hasty, Hasty will be in prime spot to take pole position for Superheat A tomorrow, and then have a clear path to taking the first haul of 65 championship points. Through turn 6 they go. 7 minutes remaining. Matteo Palazzo's race pace at this stage looking far better than it did in his first heat earlier on this afternoon, Nicole. As through the order, here comes Cole Denham. Denham down the inside, takes 4th place away from Charlie Wolfett. Kai Clark is going to throw his hat in the ring as well to try and move up into the top 5. There is a close run thing between Wolfett and Clark, and watch out for Sebastian Lush as well. Lush needs a good result, had problems in the latter stages of his first heat. That's brilliant stuff from the 2:36. Lush up to P5.
Finley Buck having to challenge Lush, but also keep behind him Albert Friend. There they go, exiting turn number 5. Ashcroft Fastest driver out there on the track, and now your new race leader, overtaken Palazzo for that lead. Leon Hasty still sat there in third as Palazzo goes wide onto the rumble strip. Hasty trying to have a look around the outside, gets the run. Can he stick it round the outside at turn number 8? Lovely stuff by Hasty. That was well read, and that's what you call maximising the grip out of a new set of tyres. Cole Denham trying to now challenge the KR Sport driver of Palazzo as well. Doesn't quite manage to get it done though. Hasty on the tail of Jacob Ashcroft, and this is the point in the race where your O-Plates driver of Hasty will start to really use that tyre advantage. Into turn number 4 and 5 they go. Hasty on the back bumper of Jacob Ashcroft. What is the challenge going to be? Where is he going to make the move stick? Still further down in the order, that's Luce trying to pick off places. Hasty on the bumper going through the second sector. Is he going to try and replicate the move that he did on Palazzo? Not this time. Out of the hairpin they go. Cole Denham trying to have a look. Is there drama then for Denham and Palazzo? No, there isn't. Almost a big moment for the two then. I thought Cole was going to go straight over the front end of Palazzo's kart, but they're still circulating there in third and fourth. Hasty still line of stern with Jacob Ashcroft, who looks over his shoulder. He knows that the Scotsman is right there going towards turn number 4 and 5.
If you're just joining us, we've got a titanic duel at the front of Junior Rotax. Jacob Ashcroft and Leon Hasty have both won their first heats. They can't both win their second heats. It's going to be decided here. Whichever one of them finishes further up the road will most likely take pole position for the superheat, the first of the 2 superheats in Junior Rotax tomorrow. Ashcroft was a little bit wide out of turn 6. Hasty's trying to do his switchback once again. This is the move that he pulled on Palazzo a few laps ago. This time, though, Ashcroft is wise to it, holds on to the race lead, chops across the front of Hasty's O-Plate kart once again. Cole Denham is now back in play. How on earth Cole Denham and Palazzo did not exit the scenery a few laps ago, I will never know, but this could be good news for Ashcroft. If his teammate can get through and make it a DHR 1-2 on the road, that could be a very strong position for them to be in. They're not alone though. Kai Clark is there as well. Kai Clark, who has continued over the last 12 months to build and build and build as a driver, has a real chance of winning this race now in P4. Into turn 7 again. Ashcroft covers off the inside line. Nothing Hasty can do about that. Turn 8 is next. Now Ashcroft will need to be careful here. He will need to play the game. They all know the guidelines of what is fair defence, what is not fair defence. There's nothing on our screens at the moment apart from an under investigation for the O-Plate. That was from earlier in the race, just an investigation right now. Nothing more than that. 3 minutes to go. Albie Friend is joining the party. Oh, as Hasty tries to get down the inside into the chicane. That's going to bottle things up through the boots, winding through turn 5. Ashcroft is doing an amazing job here. Tyre-wise, Nicole, what can Hasty do? Well, he can do that. Down the inside, takes the race lead.
There you go then, Andrew. Answered your own question. Down the inside he goes, and Ashcroft now has to think even more. How does he snatch that position back off? But the way that Ashcroft just led that race and the way he's now defending from Kai Clark shows what it takes to win a grand final, a Rotax Grand Finals. Ashcroft, he's a mature driver, he knows what he's doing, now has to lead this second pack because they've gifted this one to Leon Hasty as down the inside Clark goes at turn number 1. Ashcroft now sits there and has to concede into P3. Albert Friend on the back of this train, trailing around Cole Denham. Cole Denham now looking to go down the inside of teammate Ashcroft, who covers on the exit of turn number 5. Both DHR drivers like meerkats going down the straight, trying to look at what the gap is to the driver behind. Ashcroft goes defensive into the corner, goes defensive into the hairpin from teammate of Cole Denham, but Cole Denham will not take too lightly to that because he's a racer. He doesn't care about team games. Will he get the run out of turn number 8 and towards 9? No, he doesn't. Ashcroft still sits there in third place, fastest driver on the circuit. But down the inside, Denham goes at the final corner. And now it's Denham, your driver, in P3. Ashcroft now, the number 8 driver out there on the circuit.
Nelson, yeah.
Nelson Warning flag out there for blocking. But going back to Ashcroft, sat there in 4th position. The next driver he's going to have to think about losing place to is absolutely Albert Friend, because Albert Friend is being written an invitation as well. And all this battling that's going on is gifted Kai Clark some breathing room, which is gifting Leon Hasty a mighty lead of over a second and a half.
Apologies to Jacob Ashcroft if I'm mistaken in this, but should note as well the 242 did receive a warning flag. As off is one of the strawberries there. It's the 228 off the road. That's going to be Luca Holmes-Ballack, who was up 11 positions in this race. That's a real shame for Luca, who was on the podium last year in the lower categories when he was in Minimax. But yeah, I think Ashcroft, well, he's had a warning flag. I would imagine it was for they do get a warning if they've been deemed to be over-defending in the middle part of the race. But that's all by the by now, because it's not going to change the fact. And it started to rain. Oh, it started to rain here at Larkhall. Well, how about this for a turn of drama? And Leon Hasty's nearly off the road. Through turn number 6, the slippery surface flag is out. Has this junior Rotax race got one more twist in the tail in the battle for superheat pole position tomorrow? Everybody's going to have to tiptoe around for one final lap here.
Clark's
Time is up. Kai Clark is massively on the charge here now. Kai Clark is in the same tyre situation as Leon Hasty. The slick tyres he's got are a little bit fresher than those behind, but this is all about temperature, compound temperature now, and who can keep their nerve round a slippery Larkhall now. We're on the final lap. Hasty still leads. If the result finishes this way, Hasty will be on pole for Superheat A tomorrow. They are taking chunks out of that curb now. They go back to the wet lines. Ashcroft would still have pole position for Superheat B. He's in second place in the IC right now. But look at the drivers on the older tyres now. They're now coming back in the latter stages of this race. Leon Hasty is having to slow this down. He's trying to win this the Sir Jackie Stewart way, the slowest way possible. Out of turn number 8, is there going to be an opening there for Kai Clark? Can he draw alongside? No, Hasty gets the door shut. Down the hill through turn 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the final turn. Down the inside gets Clark. Ashcroft could take this. Ashcroft is going to take this on the final corner. Ashcroft wins from 3rd to 1st on the final corner in the rain on slicks and takes pole for the Superheat tomorrow. 2nd for Clark, Denham 3rd. Leon Hasty will not be happy with that at all. Drops to 4th, but will still have Superheat B pole position. Nicole Sutherland, what can you say about that?
It gets better and better as the weekend goes on, and I wouldn't expect anything less from our juniors. It was a good attempt by Hasty, but he was on that disadvantage being the first person to hit the water out there. And Jacob Ashcroft, who led the race early on, ends up as your race winner. Shows what it takes to be a grand finalist champion. Used his experience to just read that last corner perfectly. Snatches it from Clark, from Denham, from Hasty. Good stuff from Jacob for DHR. Palazzo then dropped outside of the top 10 at one stage, but managed to pick off some places in the end after that early drama with Denham. So not too detrimental to Matteo's points scored throughout heats so far. Remainder of your top 10 then included Albert Friend, Palazzo, Noah Barham, Ellis Bell, Alfie McBain, and then Charlie King. Nothing major achieved by Finley Buck in 11th. You then had Archie Lovett, Vlad Tomanchuk, Joel Dixon Cohen, and Cameron Nelson as your top 15. Then it was Collinson, Lush, Nathaniel Gray, Louis Cradcliffe, and Benjamin Baker as your top 20. The remainder of your finishers included Panu Steinman Kong, Shane Janjaria, Samir Paul, Oliver White, Eason Seng, Luca Holmes-Ballack, and then we lost Charlie Wolfett and Harry Cameron. Heartbreak for Charlie Wolfett, who's really looked strong so far here in Larkhall. Yeah,
it's a really tough one there for Charlie, having started on the 2nd row of the grid. Well, I asked a little question to our producer earlier. Like, have we ever had a heat as a Alpha Live race of the week? I may be getting a little bit ahead of myself because we've still got super heats and finals to go, which you know, on past form, it just gets better and better and better, doesn't it? But my goodness me, we have had some Very, very exciting racing. Leon Hasty, I think you can tell by the body language there, not too happy. I mean, you can sympathise with him. I would say he was trying to do it the Sir Jackie Stewart way, which for those who don't know about that, Jackie Stewart always used to try and win races as slowly as possible to take care of machinery and get to the end. You can't win a race if you've not seen the checkered flag. Do you think he backed it up a little bit too much, though, Nicole?
The challenge that Hasty would have been dealing with in that one, though, Andrew, is that he's the first driver out there hitting the water. Therefore, he's hitting more water than the other drivers because the likes of Clark, Denham and Ashcroft were having the rain cleared off the track by the driver ahead. So if you're a race leader, when you're on slicks on wet, you're naturally going to be the one that struggles the most because you're the first person that hits it. Therefore, you're hitting more of it.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point that you make there, Nicole. We should stress as well that the results are, of course, provisional. If you want to keep up to date with all the news, head across to the British Kart Championships website for that. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from that final heat for Junior Rotax. Everyone trackside was very much looking forward to this one. The early stages did not go Leon Hasty's way. I should note as well, I think he swapped sides there. It is the pole sitter's privilege to elect which side of the grid they start on. So Palazzo getting through in the early stages. This was how we lost Joel Dixon-Cohen. Some of the spectators at the side there having a close encounter there with the Thule Motorsport driver. It's Archie Lovett, the other driver involved. Solid race for Cole Denham as well, I thought there, Nicole. Again, just keeps chipping away with points. Keeping himself towards the order. I'm intrigued to see how we can do tomorrow. Yeah,
Cole maybe didn't have the year he would have liked last year in his rookie year of junior racing, but he's looking stronger within this one. There we saw him have a almost big moment with Palazzo. Palazzo dropped down to 11th, but Cole managed to keep going on the road. Cameron Nelson had a bit of a busy race out of turn number 5, and this was the point then. This was when that rain started coming round. We lost Luca Holmes-Balak in this as well for Strawberry. He's not having a great weekend or really a great year of things, is Balak for his rookie junior year. This was the big moment, though. This was your final corner. You can see visibly, the rain coming down. Ashcroft really got it well read. Hasty, he lost out, but it wasn't really any fault of his own, I would say.
No, and Kai Clark, we should note, wasn't too happy at the end of that race as well. So, yeah, more to come, of course, from the juniors later on in the weekend. They'll be back tomorrow for the first of their super heats at 10 o'clock. Because it's a grid bigger than 34, there'll be 2 of them, so 10 o'clock and 10:20 for those 2 super heats tomorrow. One more race to go here this afternoon, this early evening at Larkhall. Seniors are up after this.
Here at Demon Tweaks, you probably know us for our massive kartwear range. We've got everything from suits, boots, gloves and helmets from the biggest brands in the business. But we are so much more than that, because if you're looking for kart parts, well, we've got you covered too. We've got everything from Rotax parts, sprockets and chains, discs and pads, data loggers and dashers, fuel tanks, steering wheels, bead breakers, and loads more. But of course, it doesn't just stop at the track, and if you're looking to build your skills in the sim, then we've got everything you're going to need to build the ultimate rig. So whether you're just getting started or you're already at the top of your game, Demon Tweaks has got you.
Last race of the day, it's the 3rd heat for Senior Rotax, and once again, it's all to play for here at Larkhall at this stage of the weekend. Lewis Gilbert and Matthew Higgins go from the front row. Jack Lilly and Freddie Ingram form up row 2. It's William Antrobus on row 3, joined by Macaulay Bishop. Joshua Graham and Hugh Moulton go from row 4.
Row number 5 includes... I've lost where I'm reading, Andrew. Angus Scrivener and Harry Bartle. And then from row number 6, we have John Brown and Mikey Walker. 7 includes Pearson Bullock Carter with Ewan Charman, and then from row number 8 we have Jack West with Kai Hunter.
Jay Kennedy and Rachel Robertson start on row number 9. It's Adam Wooden and Kai Veach on row 10. Miles Roby and Sam Kelbrick completes the 22 runners in this one. Well, if you thought the juniors was spectacular, this one's going to be even better, because Gilbert, Bishop, Higgins, Antrobus, Graham, the top 5 in the intermediate classification after 2 heats, they're all in this one. It's all to be decided who's going to be on Superheat pole for the seniors tomorrow. And it's a falsy to start with, not to the satisfaction of race director Dan Ashton. So the tension drops for a moment, Nicole, before the grid reforms for a second go at this one. What do you think will be going through the mind of our pole sitter, Lewis Gilbert? He had to really work hard earlier for his heat win against William Antrobus. He's got Macaulay Bishop in this one also on 0 points, but Matthew Higgins there on 2 points. He's looked pretty good so far this weekend.
Absolutely, but he's got a challenge on his hands with this one. He knows that William Antrobus has got the pace. They met each other in that first race with the waving moments that we were laughing about, but he's also got to think about Higgins and Bishop that he saw weekend after weekend in 2024, 2 of his biggest competitors throughout all of his years of racing. So he's got a lot to think about throughout the race, and he's got a lot to think about the weather as well, because we did just see the rain come down in that junior race, and with the clouds out there, I would expect to maybe see some more of that as well.
I'm actually going to go further than the top 5 in the IC are all in this race. It's at least the top 10. All of them are in this one. So it's Gilbert and Bishop on 0, Higgins and Antrobus on 2, Graham and Bartle on 3, Ingram and Brown on 6, Charman and West on 7. That is a lot of drivers covered by not a lot of many points. Right, who's going to be on pole position for the Super Heats tomorrow? We're going to find out in the next 10 minutes plus 1 lap. It's a good start for Lewis Gilbert. Good one for Jack Lilly as well in the number 10. And Higgins is out wide and on the grass in the early stages of this race. Are they all going to make it through turns 4 and 5? Yes, they are. That's because they're seniors. They know how to race. Pulsating start with Lewis Gilbert at the front in the early stages. Nicole also should note another strong start for William Antrobus there in 3rd place.
Charman then getting a bit lost on the track limits, but gets back onto the tarmac ahead of I think that could have been Jack Lilly further back in the field. Higgins, though, replicated what Matty Hingley did earlier on. Just that outside row of things on those race starts really do get caught out as we've got moves going on down the inside. That's for 2nd position. So change between Antrobus and Lilly. Further back in the order, then, when I was talking about Ewan Charman, it's actually Veach that he cut across to get back onto the circuit. Challenges from Hugh Moulton further in the order. That's down the inside at turn number 4, so overtakes Mikey Walker to break into the top 10. Down the back straight they go. It's Gilbert that leads from Antrobus. Lilly is in there. We've got Graham as well, and then it's Bishop and Higgins who once more find each other bumper to nose cone, but it is Bishop that leads from teammates of Higgins. Higgins then, like I said, got caught out at that race stop, pretty much identical to what's happened twice to Matty Hingley.
Yeah, indeed. Should note as well, really good start for Rachel Robertson, up 6 places, in fact make that 7 places in the early stages of this one. So she's up to 11th place. That will please team boss Guy Cunnington, who's actually watching from the sidelines this weekend. Would have been out there on circuit racing here this weekend, but injuries off the back of a crash last weekend during the club meeting means he is taking a bit of unscheduled leave whilst he gets himself fit again to hopefully return later on in the season. We do send our best wishes to Guy and his team. 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Gilbert still leads from Antrobus. Here is Macaulay Bishop having a bit of a scrap with Angus Scrivener.
Is he having some drama out there, Bishop?
Yeah, I think he is. He's dropping down the order, isn't he? Because he's dropped off the back of Matthew Higgins' GP plate. Kart, so Bishop going backwards. We don't often say that. He's down to 8th place. Scrivener is a wild card this weekend. That's why his number starts with a 6. Those are the drivers who within this category are not registered for the full season, just to go over that one. At the front of the order, though, Gilbert still leads from Antrobus, but keeping an eye here on Macaulay Bishop. If he has had a problem, I think it was a temporary one. Sometimes happen in karts racing. The karts things, do you know what? I don't want to quite be on tune for a lap or so, but the speed seems to be back for Bishop now. Has got Harry Bartle directly behind, though. Two drivers who know each other very well. Bartle's had a bit of a quiet weekend so far. Second place in the championship at the start of things here in Scotland, Nicole, but he's running there in the top 10.
Well, the drama for Bishop then has done favours for Matthew Higgins, who finds himself now in his own air and puts in that purple lap to try and chase up to Graham, your driver who had that spectacular win here last year. Gilbert, though, 9/10 clear from the remainder of the field. Antrobus doesn't look like just yet he'll be able to replicate that waving moment we saw from him in the previous heat. He's pulling around teammate of Jack Lilly there in third, Graham in fourth, Higgins in fifth, then Freddie Ingram, and a name that's gone a bit under the radar so far this weekend is sat there trying to chase down, pulling around Bishop, Scrivener, Bartle and Rachel Robertson, who now jumps into the top 10. There you can see on the sidelines just a DHR team. That was Emerson McAndrew-Uren watching on eagerly at his teammates of Bishop, who now goes fastest. So just shows no mechanical gremlins, I would say. He's putting in those good laps. And down the inside on Scrivener, Bartle goes at turn number 4 to get into 8th.
Yeah, good move there by Harry Bartle. You're absolutely right to point out that Freddie Ingram's gone a little bit under the radar. Is a rookie within the division and the championship. It's on the podium, of course, earlier on in the season. So Freddie Ingram looking to continue to score points for Strawberry Racing. There's a battle between two drivers who want to be back on the podium at the end of Sunday. The two Sam Pollitt Racing drivers, William Antrobus and Jack Lilly. Lilly 10th in the championship last year. One of the seeded drivers going into 2025. We have a little look further down the order. The Jacks Motorsport 315 of Pearson Bullock Carter in the mix there. We had a little chat with Pearson during the build-up show yesterday. And this is your reminder, of course, that if you want to be on the paddock show this evening, make your way down to the race centre. We'll have the Wera Tools Wheel Change Challenge here in the paddock to see if we can get some more names on the leaderboard, and then we'll have probably about 15 to 20 minutes time to wander around, have a chat with some of the drivers here in the paddock and see how what they think of the days that they've had here at Larkhall. That paddock show will be on the Karting UK channel later on this evening. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you've subscribed and hit the notification bell and all of that business. If you can't, if you're busy tonight, if you've got other things on, if you're at an Oasis concert or something like that, don't worry, it'll be on during the lunch break tomorrow during our Sunday broadcast for all of the superheats and finals. Nicole, you've been watching the action whilst I've been doing the parish notices. Macaulay Bishop definitely back on song, isn't he?
Yeah, Bishop down the inside then, so picks up one more position from Bartle. Pace-wise then, the front end of your order, Graham and Lilly are matched on pace, identical laps on that previous one. They are faster than Antrobus ahead, so Lilly just maybe taking a bit too long to try and get something done on Antrobus. Maybe there's some team tactics going into that, but for now, no change between the two SPRs. Higgins trying to catch up to Joshua Graham. The pace difference between Higgins and Graham is that Higgins is faster by just under 2/10. So the GP plate really trying to push hard to jump onto the back of the KR, trying to get a fishing rod out and hook him in. Lilly right there on the back bumper of Antrobus now, a driver that's doing double duty this year in both British Kart Championships categories, IAME and Rotax, is now overtaken for that second place. Lilly bit the bullet and got it done, and that has brought Graham and Higgins right into the fight. Higgins turns up the dial through the final corner, overtakes Joshua Graham, so now the GP plate finds himself in fourth, chasing down Antrobus. Graham doesn't sacrifice any pace, he's still right there, and then it's Bishop, your fastest driver on the circuit, and Freddie Ingram in seventh. Gilbert clear by 1.4 seconds to the remainder of the field, so not too much to think about for Gilbert other than the corners ahead of him. Steady race for him, but it's all going to go on for second to fourth. Lily from Antrobus, from Higgins, from Graham through the hairpin. They chase each other up to turn number 8, but still no challenge, no favour returned just yet from Antrobus.
Slightly different scenario than what we're used to with cut-offs and number of superheats, etc., etc. Nobody will miss out on making the final, but we still have 2 superheats scheduled. That's because originally we did have 35 entries for this weekend. The withdrawals of Guy Cunnington and Lizzie Menti have dropped us down to 33. So everybody will get through, but it does mean we do still have 2 scheduled pole positions up for grabs here. For Antrobus, he's holding Superheat B's pole position right now, but only by a single point. If Higgins can find a way through, normally we'd be talking about with a working towards a single grid. Oh, you don't want second place, you want third. You want the inside of row number 2 for the bigger races tomorrow. But that's not the case right now with Senior Rotax, with the schedule going forward. So Higgins, he's going to be looking to get past the graduate from the juniors in 2024, because there is an opportunity here to be at the very front of the grid for that second superheat. And you never know if there's a problem for Lewis Gilbert in his superheat. Of course, right now Gilbert's going to be on pole position for that superheat A, but just if there is a problem for the Craft Motorsport driver, Higgins could pounce like he has just done there. Down the inside, sweet move by the GP plate holder. He's up to third.
Sweet move by Bishop as well. As we head to that 20-second mark, loses it out though as Graham challenges his back. Bishop gets it wrong, goes all over the grass. That brings other drivers into the fight. Ingram and Bartle into things as well, but that was almost a big moment for Macaulay Bishop. Him and Graham, that was close as you like. Clock strikes 0 then. Drivers will get that extra lap into things, but drama on these late stages. Bishop, now knowing that he's having to defend, is your fastest driver on the track, but really having to push off the likes of Bartle and Graham, who has dropped down the order now. Lily still leading from Higgins for that second place, but it is absolutely as close as you like further down in that mid-pack between Bishop and Bartle. Bishop goes defensive into the hairpin. Lily replicates, goes defensive into turn number 8. Graham trying to fend off Angus Scrivener for that 8th place, but Graham gets it wrong up the banking, almost runs onto that dirty grass section. Lily under pressure, looks over his shoulder to the GP plate sat right there. Matthew doesn't use as much rumble strip out of turn number 1. That's helped him. He's got the legs going into turn number 4. Can he set it up on the exit of 5 and down the back straight? Bumper to bumper they go then. Lily looking like he's panicking slightly, keeps looking over his shoulder. Defensive into the tight right. Loses out then, and the GP plate of Matthew Higgins read him like a book, goes down the inside and takes away second place.
Really good stuff there from Matthew Higgins. He doesn't necessarily need these points for the pole position in Superheat B tomorrow, but you never know with these intermediate points carrying over. On pole for Superheat A will be Lewis Gilbert. Gilbert delivers again at Larkhall. Higgins second in the final heat of the day will be in the other Superheat tomorrow morning. Third for Lily, fourth for Antrobus. That result means for Antrobus, he will be on the front row again for a Superheat. He'll be on the outside of row number 1 with Lewis Gilbert for Superheat A. All of these results are provisional, of course, though. Freddie Ingram, another impressive run for Strawberry Racing, P5, and Freddie should have a decent position once everything shakes out for those Superheat grids tomorrow. Macaulay Bishop, P6. I've no idea how he got stopped in that clash at turn 8, but he comes home, gets some more points on the board. He will also be on the front row for a Superheat tomorrow with Higgins. That'll be in the second one. Bartle, Graham, Charman and Scrivener all in the top 10. Good drive from Rachel Robertson. Capitalised on that strong start, finishes P11. That was your biggest gain in that race. Jack West up 4 to 12th ahead of John Brown, Adam Wood and Pearson Bullock Carter all in the top 15. Moulton, Hunter, Kennedy, Walker and Beach all in the top 20. Sam Kelbrick and Miles Groby complete the finishes. All 22 drivers who started the race finished it. But it's the championship leader, Lewis Gilbert. Yes, on home soil. Yes, he knows this place very well. But you've still, particularly in this category, got to go out and deliver. Shake of hands there between Gilbert and Higgins. They are your pole sitters for the 2 superheats tomorrow. They will meet again later on in the weekend, of course, but not till the final. You can watch all of those races on Sunday Finals Day here from Larkhall tomorrow on the Alpha Live and Karting UK YouTube channels. For the parish notices as well, those 2 races in seniors. 10:40 for Superheat A, 11 o'clock local time here in the UK for Superheat B. The final for senior Rotax goes at 1:20 in the afternoon.
Good stuff from all seniors, though. We thought it would maybe be a bit more dramatic than it was after what we watched from our juniors, but there's more in store for tomorrow's racing, like you said, Andrew. So I think, audience, make sure you tune in tomorrow because it'll get feistier.
I think a lot of it also delivers to how professional a performance that was from Lewis Gilbert.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't see a lot of him during that race, but he just took off. And I wonder as well, we've been talking about the racing brain of Lewis Gilbert so far in 2025. Was he saving tyres maybe a little bit in the first race, knowing, oh, I've got a pretty big grid of drivers behind me in the second one, and I'm going to need to beat that lot as well to keep myself at the front. I'm speculating, of course. Maybe we'll try and catch a word with Lewis later on this evening. But, yeah, he delivers again, Lewis Gilbert. He's not got any championship points from this weekend yet. Again, the first haul of those will be given to the drivers once we've got the superheat results in tomorrow. Everyone's done 2 qualifying heats and a superheat. That will then give us the final intermediate classification and the order of the points, 65, 62, etc. Etc. I always find this really interesting, Nicole. The drivers straight away over to the laptop just to check their pace. They get into all the data from Motorsport Timing. Let's have a look at some of the highlights then from that last race of the day. Nicole, take us through it.
Good start by our drivers then. Higgins early on in that second place, same as what happened to Hingley early on, gets caught out onto the rumble strip, dropped down to about 4th or 5th, but later did replicate it and managed to pick off places. Back end of your order then, the likes of Pearson Bullock Carter got shuffled early on, had to make overtakes through turn number 4 and got busy between him and further down drivers, the likes of Kai Hunter, who's not quite having the weekend he would have wanted so far. Lilly went down the inside of William Antrobus through turn number 8. This was then when Matthew Higgins overtook Antrobus as well. Graham and Bishop. This was the story. This was almost a big moment, and big props to both drivers for the kart control, because how on earth neither of them lost it when clipping that bit of grass is impressive. At the end of things, it was, though, Lewis Gilbert, a commanding win, pretty much lies to flag, unchallenged, 2.8 seconds clear from the remainder of the field, and finds himself on pole going into tomorrow's superheat, as does William Antrobus for Superheat B for our seniors.
Very good stuff there from the seniors. That, of course, brings us to a close for the racing action here today. But we are back tomorrow, bright and early here in Scotland. 10 o'clock will be the green light time for Superheat A in the juniors. Superheat B follows 20 minutes afterwards. That will be a category that does have a cut-off as well, so a number of drivers who've not had good fortunes today will need to have big races in those 2 to make sure they make the top 34 and go through to the final. No such worries for the seniors. 33 of them means they will all go through, but they've still got to navigate their way through their 2 superheats at 10:40 and 11 o'clock. Minimax's single superheat then goes from 11:20. Then for Micromax, that's 11:40 that they will have their third race of the weekend. Honda Cadet go from 12 o'clock for their superheat. That takes us through to the Paddock Show replay. We're going to be going out and filming that one now. So if you're at the circuit, do head down and give us a hello at the race centre. If you want the exclusive production, shall we say, of the Paddock Show. That will be on the Karting UK channel later on this evening. 8 p.m. is what I'm told in my ear will be the go live point for the Paddock Show over on the Karting UK channel. That's the only place that you can watch it this evening. Then the finals, 12:50 for junior Rotax, 1:20 local time in the afternoon for the seniors. Minimax 950 go from 1:50, Micromax 2:20, and then Honda Cadet at 2:50 will have grid walks with yourself, Nicole. You'll be doing all the running around. You've got the younger legs than mine. But really looking forward to all of those races tomorrow. Any last words before we head off and do the Paddock Show, Nicole?
I think we've had some great racing today.
We have.
Looking forward to seeing what our drivers bring to the field tomorrow. But it's been great stuff from all of the team, our marshalling team, Alpha Life, who have produced all of the content. It's been a great day so far, and we're in for some extra special action tomorrow. So, like Andrew just explained to you all the times, tomorrow, don't miss out. No excuses.
No excuses indeed. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage here today. We've definitely enjoyed calling the racing here from Larkhall for Event 5 of the Wera Tools British Karts Championships. We will see you 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for the start of those super heats. It's going to be a great Sunday. Bye-bye.